All right, so here we are with the co-CEO of Shaw & Partners Financial Services, as well as the co-owner and founder of Race One, Earl. How are you today?
Really good.
And
really good.
We're obviously here at Scarborough Beach for the Surf Life Saving Australia national titles. What do you reckon? Big week ahead?
It's unreal. I think 5,000 or 6,000 competitors come from all over Australia. It's the granddaddy event. It's the final and the end of the year for all of the families and the athletes. I suppose just on a personal note, really like to sort of congratulate Adam Weir and Wayne Drury and all of the SLA team. They cop a bum rap from a lot of people for what they do, and they don't do it right, and this, that, and the other. They do a fantastic job, and what they put on here is, it's 12 months of, intense planning, and it's extraordinary. It's remarkable, and to see all the tents, there's a kilometre of tents all down the beaches. It's obviously gone on many, many years, well prior to my involvement in the sport over the last 5 or 6. But congratulations to SLA. They've just done an unreal job, and again, it's going to be a fantastic week of racing. It's been really good so far, watching some of the Masters and the kids on the weekend. Just awesome. And live television crossing, on the weekend, Facebook and the like, be able to watch it's awesome.
Cool, and I guess just while we're talking about the summer, I guess Shaw & Partners played a massive part in that, as well as Race One coming into the fold.
Yeah.
So I guess you want to talk a little bit, on your journey, how you're sort of seeing the sport, and I guess what sort of unraveled the last sort of few weeks.
Yeah, look, I think for us, I've been involved in the ocean sports for 6 or 7 years, so I think a fairly heavy involvement. We like to commit for long term, hence the reason why we've committed for 3 years from Shaw & Partners to the Summer of Surf and prepaid all the money. It's actually sitting in a trust account, all the prize money, so people have got a little bit of certainty. And from our side, I think it started off as Shaw & Partners and our involvement and looking after some athletes. We do lots of private donations to clubs that we actually say we don't want any branding for, just here's a donation to you and to help you. And some of the sort of smaller clubs in the provincial areas, which is important. I speak to a lot of club presidents on my travels around Australia and go and visit lots of different surf clubs, which has really sort of opened my eyes and illuminated me to, the top clubs and also to the ones in the middle at the bottom. So to get further involved, we actually started this brand Race One a year ago. It started off as a paddle company, and to be frank, for us, we look after 4 brands. The predominant ones are basically being Garafin, Orca and Brasher. We put a Race One logo on it, so I know a few people out there say all they do is put stickers on a blade. That's exactly right, and I don't think for that matter, Greg with his paddle, the actual blade is a Brasher blade. It's exactly the same, and puts Bennett blade on it. So I don't think we're doing anything that's outside of what other people are doing to a large degree. And Greg does a great job too, by the way, an absolute fantastic job. So we started this company, and we thought, gee, if we could build something up, the idea was to put profits back into the sport, and it's sort of grown from there. We in the last 6 weeks, we announced a couple of weeks ago that we've merged our business with Dolphin Surfcraft, which is very exciting, very, very exciting. I didn't know the people that own the business. I heard the business sold a year ago or middle of last year, and I didn't know the Holmes family. I didn't know the business for sale. I would have definitely been wanting to be involved in it, and we sort of wanted to expand Race One beyond paddles and to get into the manufacturing side. Not a lot of money in it. It's a cottage industry and a cottage sport. A lot of family businesses involved in it, and I know how tough it is, but just growing our own brand and growing the concept. And about 6 weeks ago, I decided to ring the new owners of it to say, would you be interested in partnering? I didn't know them. They took my call, which was great. And here we are 6 weeks later, and Race One, absolutely awesome. We're merging the two brands together. The business will continue on, and for us, it will be Race One powered by Dolphin. Full respect to the people that actually, the Holmes family and the designers and the craftsmen that put the Dolphin product together, boards and skis. It's first class, it's world class. And for us, we're very proud to put our brand on it, so it'll be known as Race One, powered by Dolphin. I think to pay homage to the history of the brand. It's the reason why we want to keep the Dolphin name on it. Kirsty Holmes, I don't know Kirsty, but I read her post a couple of weeks ago that she put up about the wonderful history of the two families, starting with her father and her uncle. And it's just fantastic, the history of it. It was one of the best crafted posts. I'd ask everyone to go out and read it if you haven't, to give the history of it. It really was first class, and nearly brought a tear to my eye, to be honest. It was really, really well done. So again, really proud to be involved with the Dolphin name, and we just want to build our own brand and build a great business. And again, if I look at the sport, it's grown. There's so many wonderful brands that have been around for a long, long time, and I personally wanted to be involved in it. Dean Gardner and Jim Walker, my two business partners, wanted to be involved in it. They've been around the sport for a long time, and that's how it evolved.
Awesome. And I guess a question on, so what, I guess, is your motivation Shore Partners coming together now, obviously with race one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, what's the motivation? What are you doing it for?
Oh, well, it's like anything, passion. There's no money to be made in this sport, that's for sure. And you've only got to go and ask a few of the manufacturers. It's tough to make a living out of it. But like all things, we don't make a lot of money out of investing in the sport from Shore Partners' perspective. But we're very proud to see our brand on athletes. We're very proud to see our brand associated with clubs. We're very proud to see our brand associated with, a whole range of facets of this surf lifesaving sport. It's something we're very, very proud of. And this is really just an extension of it. What do we want to do? I think like anything, I'd like to think that we've illuminated the sport in the last 3 or 4 years, and that's with an injection of obviously capital. Money actually keeps the world going around, but to be frank with you, with a bit of passion and professionalism. And if you add that to the Shore Partners Cooling Out a Goal, the SLA Run, the SLA Run Nutrigrain Series, the Shore Partners Summer of Surf, you put that together with the Shore Partners WA Race Week, and then you put that together with carnivals that are held all over the country every weekend during summer. It's just extraordinary, and I think the sport has never looked brighter. From what I can gather, I've been involved in it 6 or 7 years now. It's never looked brighter. I think for kids that want to merge on and actually expand their athletic careers at 15, 17, 19, 20, 25, there's something to aspire to. Certainly when I got involved 5 or 6 years ago, and it was dying. Ocean paddling was very similar. It's not because of me, it's through all of the people that contribute into the sport. I really just want to be a part of that. And, I think the wonderful thing about, sport and life is you follow your dreams, and I think this has actually brought a lot to my life in the last few years. I think the surf club movement is a phenomenal movement. I think SLA do a wonderful job. I think all of the little boards that run and man and patrol the beaches is extraordinary, and a byproduct of that, to see all the nippers out on the Saturday and Sunday morning, it's just extraordinary, and just really want to be a part of that.
Yeah, and it's funny, just I guess from our side of the fence, just seeing what's happening with the sport, how inspiring the young generation is. We are having athletes who are having their life set up by winning one race. They've instantly got a house deposit.
Yeah.
So I guess from our end, firstly, it's incredible to see what you're doing, but also we can see that you're genuinely wanting to grow it. And I guess there is a question, people saying, what happens if you leave?
Yeah.
So I guess what's your plan in terms of, next couple of years?
Yeah, well, let's look at the negative side then. What happens if we stay? It could be bloody unreal. So, look, we've been involved in it for 4 or 5 years now, ocean paddling for 7 going on 8 years. Nothing's forever, of course. We come into the world with nothing and we all leave. The one thing we're certain about, death and taxes, it will come to an end. I'd like to think that we can assist and help in building it big enough, quite frankly, that at the end of the day, when our time comes, and it will, and it's certainly not happening in the next 3 years, and I want to make it clear, we've signed a contract, we've prepaid all of the prize money, it actually sits in a trust account, and the reason why we did that was to give certainty to everybody that, the economy's not going to downturn, and Shore Partners doesn't make as much money, so all of a sudden we're going to chip everybody and maybe not pay as much on the sponsorship. We prepay everything in advance. That's what my business partner and I, Alan Zion, like to do. And that was to give certainty. We'll worry about year 4 and year 4. Nothing is forever. But to be frank, I think our intention, investing in race 1, merging with Dolphin, we've got a big philanthropic foundation that we give a lot of donations to. We make donations to lots of clubs around the country that we don't want any exposure for, and we do it privately, not from a business perspective. I think we'll be here for a few more than just 2 or 3 years. But anyway, let's worry about that in 4 or 5 and 6.
100%. And I must say from our end, firstly, that 3 years allows us to do so much. Having that certainty,
planning, right?
But I must admit the platform you've been able to create, and there's a saying, rising tides raise all ships.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing the benefit amongst all clubs. You've got 3 years where you can guarantee it. Individual athletes can go out and get their own sponsors because they're racing in the showcase piece. Things like the Red Bull Plane Air Show, like even
Channel 7, right?
We're on Channel 7.
Channel 7 Facebook, it's awesome.
And
Great
even
coverage.
then seeing the way councils and government funding are seeing just how incredible our events are, the positive impact they're having in the community. So as I said, from where we're sitting, it is just so incredible to have someone, which I must say, if it wasn't for you, go back 3-4 years ago, if you hadn't stepped in, and as I said, it's amazing to see how all the events now are just really raising. Massive credit, look at the Surf Life Saving Queensland state champs. It was
Awesome.
It was incredible,
Yeah.
the live stream that they had. I think they had 2 drones going.
I think the hard part is, whenever you do something like this, people look for motives, and there's plenty of guys like me around in this sport and in other facets of the world that have been quite successful. I've achieved far more than I ever thought I'd achieve for a bloke that left school at grade 11 and aspired to do good things, but fortunately, in some regard, it's come true for me. but it's putting back in. And there's plenty of guys around like me that have made a bit of money, and quite frankly, they go and buy $30 million boats, and to run those $30 million boats costs about $2 million a year just in petrol, and staffing. There's plenty of people. I'm in the motorsport industry, and we're a shareholder in supercars, and we sponsor one of the major teams. And quite frankly, most of those teams are owned by wealthy people that are just passionate about racing cars. And then underneath supercars, there's a whole layer underneath that of people that really struggle to get funding but love it, and they just go out and race. They get no exposure. So for me, this has become a passion, quite frankly. I'm a workaholic. I work 7 days a week. I live on an aeroplane. I'm really thrilled to be here. I've watched multiple replays going back to the Uncle Toby's days, or Dean Mercer coming in that big wave with his hand up at North Bondi. I've watched the Shannon X9 Classic, I reckon probably 9 times. This year's one. So I think from our perspective, this is just a guy that's fallen in love with the sport, passionate, not a fly-by-nighter. I think there was a comment made, I might have just been hanging around. I think after 6 or 7 years, that's not hanging around. That's someone that's actually been quite committed. And, to actually announce that, we're going to be involved for the next 3 years, for me personally to be a founding partner with Jimmy Walker and Dean Gardner in race 1, and then merging with Dolphin. Like I said, race 1, I'm fully aware we haven't designed a surf ski or board. It's our brand name on it. I think it's an edgy brand. I think it's pretty cool. It's resonated phenomenally well with the teenagers, and we've just had so much feedback. Kids are clamouring for the hats and the shirts and the jumpers and everything they can get. So we just want to build a brand. But to be frank, I want to pay complete homage to the Holmes family. And you look at Zane, and to win what he did in that 1 year, the national title, the series, the Coolangatta Gold, phenomenal athlete, heavily involved in the design of the craft that we're going to be privileged enough to put our brand on. That's super exciting. So my motives are pure, and really to put into the sport. That's the key.
All right, so I guess, Earl, addressing a bit of an elephant in the room, there has been some, social media posts, some of which quite nasty, from another craft manufacturer, unfortunately, involving the Race 1 Waterman store merge. There was obviously quite a bit of commentary, so I think it's a great opportunity for you to, how are you thinking about it? What do you think,
Yeah, look, probably not a lot to say. I think social media forums are there to certainly have opinions, but I think this is a wonderful sport, and I just don't think you need to sort of go on and sort of call out other people. It's a very small industry. It's very tribal. So for as much as one party might have a lot of support, there's an awful lot of support on the other side, right? It's like football teams, right? How can you support, the Balmain Tigers, or how can you support Souths that beat my beloved Manly on the weekend?
Warriors, mate.
Yeah, correct. How can you support those? But the fact of the matter is, it is tribal, and they have very, very solid basis. The one comment that I probably would say is that at the end of the day, there was a comment made about monopolisation, and it's sort of just fabrication and a bit embarrassing, to be quite frank. If I was to look at it honestly, Cracker has, I'm in the finance game, so I can add up. I can't do much, Ben, but I can add up very well. There's at least 10 cracker boards out there to probably 2 other brands, and there's a reason for that. They sell a great product. They've done a phenomenal job on the marketing. The husband and wife team that run that have done a great job. And let me tell you, they monopolise the market. And rightly so, because they've done an awesome job. And for all of us competitors, we can really wish to aspire to be even a competitor with them. And I think it's very similar on a few other areas. If I was to look at the paddles, if you go out on the beaches, unless my eyesight's wrong, 70% of the paddles on the beaches have been made by Greg Bennett. He's served this industry for 30 or 40 years. There's a level of loyalty there that will never change, and they'll die using a better paddle, and as they should. From our side, all we've done is come in and say, we're using the exact same blade, which is a Brasher blade. We're putting a race one on it, and we can only hope that the younger generation actually maybe gives us just a little bit of that market share, and we can go on a 10 or a 20-year journey. We might come in with a bit of capital, a bit more capital than others, and put it into this particular brand, but you're never going to monopolise it. And I don't think at the end of the day, the actual punters out there or the families or the clubs would allow that to happen. I think there's wonderful brands in this sport. I think Reese has done a great job. Boss are a great craft. You've just got to look at the people that paddle it. I think Cracker make a wonderful board. I think Dolphin make a wonderful board and a wonderful ski. That's the reason why we've merged our business with them. Do we want to elevate it, retool it, be bigger and better than what it presently is? Of course, that's what everyone should aspire to. And maybe some of those comments were made on the basis that they felt a bit threatened. Or they felt that there might be a little bit of competition. Well, competition's good and competition's healthy, but there's also some brands that are struggling for airtime. Like I look at DD3, Jackson Collins has won 2 of the last national titles on that particular ski. That's a great product. right? We're not hearing anything from them. I look at Meek down in Victoria, they've got a very loyal base. And I think from my perspective, there's a whole range of brands out there that I don't think we all have to work together. We all have to build our brands as we want to build them, but I don't think we need to tear each other down. We're just good people that started a brand a year ago, no different to all of those brands at some point started from scratch. We've merged it with another company that wants to aspire to do good things, which is Dolphin. And now the business is Race One powered by Dolphin, and nothing more, nothing less. And from our perspective, we're really just trying to I think take our business to the next level. I hope all the other craft manufacturers do exactly the same, and just sort of down tools. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do posts. We don't need to bag each other. Let water find its natural level, and I think those brands that build a level of loyalty that I think that loyalty won't be penetrated. There'll be a few people that move. There'll be a few athletes that go from the left to the right. Georgia Millie used to paddle a Dolphin board. She now paddles a Cracker. Hope she goes back to a Dolphin. Who knows? At the end of the day, I look at Matt Bevilacqua. He was paddling a Boss, and then he moved to a Dolphin. People move all the time. DMAC, great athlete. She had a ripper season last year. She moved from Sonic, board and ski, across to CTC. It just happens all the time. I see Jackson Collins has just changed sponsors from Vycobi to Engine. Saw a picture with him. It just happens, right? That's life, and people go around all the time. I think at the end of the day, we're just here to row our boat, stay in our lane, do the best we can. I aspire to be as good as Cracker. And I aspire for Race One to be as good as Greg Bennett. And getting back to your original question, what's going to happen after 3 years? They've been long-serving custodians of this sport with their product, and I'd like to think that we're in a similar position that when I'm 80, Race One is a dominant player and it's got a 20 or 30 year rich history with the sport, something that I can sort of go to my grave and be very, very proud of. It's been a gift in my life to be involved in it, and the reality of it is we're going to be a player and we are going to be here for a while, but we're not here to crush anyone, we're not here to monopolise anybody. It's a bit ridiculous really, and I wish it didn't happen, but it did, and I thank Reece for taking the post down, and we all move on, and I'd encourage everybody out there, support the brand that you want to, keep buying Boss skis, keep buying Cracker boards, keep buying Race One powered by Dolphin, keep looking at the Meek paddles, explore all the different brands. That's what it's all about.
So I guess on that, so from your perspective, you're really not too fussed on ultimately?
Look, I wish it didn't happen.
Yes.
It did.
Sorry, in terms of athletes, what craft they paddle? People are
not
suggesting,
really. That we're going to pay people to come
you've got to move boards and skis.
Well, I think people move all the time, and I can take you through. I'm an avid tennis player. I love tennis. I can take you through Roger Federer's history, and I can tell you what his first sponsor was. His middle sponsor was Nike, and he's not sponsored by Nike now. The reality of it is pay to play. A lot of these athletes have got very high profiles. They have big social media followings, and they are influential. And that's no different in any sport or any business. So, in my position, I believe that you should pay athletes at the top end. They're racing for prize money. They train 6-7 days a week. They need money for vitamins and massages and specialty psychology and all of those things, private coaching. So we're in a position that we can afford to do that. I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm not embarrassed to say that. And I'm happy to invest money to the people that support our craft that want to go on the journey with us. And for the other businesses and the other people, good for them, whatever they want to do. I'm really thrilled for it. I just want to stay in my lane, do my thing with my business partners. And so for me, there will be some athletes, there's no question about it. Let me not shamefully hide from it, or unashamedly hide from it. There will be some athletes that will use the Race One, blade, board and ski. But there'll be plenty that at the end of the day, to be frank with you, if I was to look at Harriet Brown, hopefully she's got 2 or 3 years. She tells me she's staying for next year, and I hope she does. She uses a Dolphin, a Race One powered by Dolphin, and she uses a Meek paddle. I have no issue with that, and I'd actually ask her to stay and use that for the final couple of years of her career. Ali Day, has won 8 Coolangatta gold. In the last few years, he's used a Boss ski, he's used a Cracker board. He did use a Dolphin board, and he changed a few years ago, so no one had any issues with that then. And he changed paddle brands from basically a Bennett, which served him very, very well, to a Race One to promote our brand. But essentially, it's the same blade. It's a brusher blade, just a different sticker on it. And at the end of the day, I would encourage Ali to say, stick with what you've got. My goal for Ali, as a personal sponsor of his, and I have been for a number of years now, I want him to win 9 Coolangatta golds, 10 Coolangatta golds. But, the whole beach is full of competition, right? The whole beach is full of competition. It seems a bit silly that people poo-poo a competitor that comes in. That's sort of like saying, can nobody race in the Coolangatta gold, so Ali's the sole competitor, and he monopolises it, and you know, he wins 9 and 10 people get a goal. How much fun would that be? It wouldn't be any fun at all. So do we want to monopolise? No. Do we want to be bigger than what we are now? Of course. Everybody should aspire to be that. That's why we all go to the gym, be fitter, have more muscles. So, but yeah, no, I'm pretty relaxed about it all. People use what they want to use, and will we pay a few athletes to promote our product? That's the commercial world we live in, sadly, and there's hundreds of thousands of dollars up the stake, and as those other companies maybe got a bit upset because some of those athletes want to promote our brand, there's plenty that I'm sure will go the other way and promote theirs. So just like as before, water finds its natural level.
Yeah.
Sorry about the long-winded answer.
That's all right, mate. But I must admit it is interesting. As I said, if an athlete can get an opportunity to take their training to the next level, go out and win some races, it's like, who am I to say what they should do? Everyone's doing what's
I've been in
best for
business for a long
themselves.
time, and this is very tribal, right? I've been involved in football for quite a few decades, at a sponsorship level, personal level. I'm involved with a great football team, the devil to many, but Manly. I love them dearly, and I know the owners and the players really well, and I've followed them all of my life. It's very tribal, and there's always gossip and innuendo and rumours and tribalism. This sport here is no different. You have over 300 surf clubs around Australia. Everyone's got an opinion. Social media makes it go around within 3 minutes. What I know is you can never unscramble that egg and make everybody happy. My business in finance is the same. It's very tribal, full of a lot of rumours, a lot of innuendo. And I know a lot of people think out there that we sponsor Northcote because they're the winning club and they buy all of the athletes. But the reality of it is, and this is not the forum to go through it. It'd be great to have a fireside chat on that and to get a few people from all the different clubs and talk about that openly. I reckon that'd be a fiery one that'd get a lot of people chatting. But I think the reality of it is people move around all the time. And I think it'll be exactly the same with the athletes, and they should do and paddle the best craft that works for them to let them achieve their goals. And if they can get paid along the way for that, I don't think that's a crime.
100%. All right, I think you've summarised that great. So I guess we did promise an announcement, so thank you for your patience, I guess, hanging in there.
Yeah.
But race 1, Shore Partners Summer Surf, I guess what's happening in the summer?
Yeah, really excited about it. We've spent a little bit of time talking through, and it's probably, we always planned it to do it actually when this event was on, the granddaddy, if you want to call it that. I think there's over $500,000 in prize money in the Shore Partner Summer Surf presently, which is super. It started, if I take everyone's mind back, it started 5-6 years ago with the Shore Partner Shannon X9 Classic. Yep. We had 200 competitors at that Northcliffe event, 200. We had 1,000, dial it forward, 1,000. This year, which is just awesome. We did the Manly event, which sadly was cancelled due to things out of everyone's control, which I'm really appreciative for everyone's support on that. But it started off as one round. It was David Shields from Northcliffe that said, why don't we expand it out to a couple? And then at the end of the day, last year we did 3 rounds. So we did Manly, we did up on the Sunshine Coast, and we did the Shore Partner Shannon X9 Classic. What I'm really excited to announce today is we're going to expand that to a 4-round series. So it will be Alexander Headlands. It will be New South Wales. We're trying to work out whether it's North Bondi or whether it's Manly, and we're just working through that at the moment. And we are going to, for next year, turn the Shore Partners Shannon X9 Classic, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Shannon X9. We're going to actually turn that event into a double header. So it will be equal prize money on the Saturday and the Sunday. It'll be the finale, which is just going to be absolutely awesome. Race 1 today also is going to add $100,000 in prize money to that. We're giving a 3-year commitment. What we really want to do, it's great at the elite level. I think the elite level is fantastic. To be frank with you, I think the under 15s and the under 17s and the youth, we really want to show some love into that. So we'll announce further details of it, but a lot of that prize money is going to go into race 1 surf craft and paddles equipment. You'll get a voucher. For argument's sake, if you were to win the under 15s, boys or girls, or under 17s, you'll get a voucher which will entitle you to actually use the board, the ski, the paddle. If in the event you don't want that, we'll work something out with the money and you can actually go and buy someone else's craft. We're really relaxed on that. But it's actually to put something into Chase. We are going to announce something that adjacent to whoever wins the under 15s and the under 17s boys and girls, we're actually going to make some donations to the clubs to where those kids come from. We'll make further details announcement of that in the coming months. Trent, you and I are working through the final details. So it integrates not only the families and the kids, but it also integrates the clubs themselves, which is awesome, and bring them on the journey of competitiveship and winning and involvement, which they're all there, but it binds them all in. So super excited about that. And the final thing I'd like to say, and I think this is an act of collaboration or it's something that we'd already planned. But for me, the Shaw and Partner Shannon X-Line Classic, I want to be the granddaddy event. I want it to be the biggest. I'd love to see 1,500 people there. I'd love to see people. I think what SLA have done here is just amazing for a week and for all the families to fly in. So it was always our plan, and sadly, I know there'll be people out there that'll go, "Oh, they're just saying that because of the post." And you can't win, Ben, but I'm going to say it anyway. On that weekend, it's really about making it an unbelievable spectacle. And as you know, when we started, we didn't have the ice cream trucks or the Ferris wheels or the Red Bull aero displays or the national anthem or the flags or all of those things. We've got some really exciting announcements for next year. But what we'd like to do is invite all of the product providers, all of them, to bring their tents for the 2 to 3 days that the event's on, bring them and actually showcase their brand. Free of charge, there's no cost. David Shields and Northcliffe will make sure the space is available. We'll be there big and bold, so start planning and thinking. So whether you're Meek or Stealth, or Stealth still exists, I think it does, doesn't it? I'm not sure. Stealth's still out there. DD3, Meek, all of the brands, Boss, Cracker, bring 2, bring 3 tents, showcase your brand. And bring it along, and let's turn that last round of the Shaw and Partner Summer Reserve into the biggest showcase of what this wonderful sport's all about. And it'll cost you nothing. All you do is get in your car, bring your tents, and come and showcase your product. We'll be there showcasing ours. It's not about monopoly. It's not a kumbaya either. It is a business, but we really want to actually make sure that everyone gets a fair shot. So, in the spirit of fairness and openness, we're really looking forward to that grant. So, an extra 100,000, an extra round, Shaw and Partner Shannon X-Line Classic, and open collaboration with some of the brands to come and showcase their products, which is awesome.
Amazing, and I guess stay tuned to social media. It's all going to be coming out in the meantime, but I guess just from us, from on behalf of the Summer Surf and a lot of athletes that I know personally, the impact that you're having on so many people's lives, that was what was most disappointing for me, was seeing, just the amount of people's lives that you're positively impacting. I guess it means a lot to me, it means a lot to Trent, it means a lot to all these athletes. So I guess on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for taking the sport to where we've always wanted it to go. And as I said, from this platform, the world, I think, really is our oyster. So,
well, look, it's interesting you say that, and I'll close with one last comment, sorry again, but, I've received probably, as of last night, 600, 650 messages, emails. 50% of them, I don't even know who the people are, to be frank with you. So I thank everyone that's reached out to me that were disappointed in some of the activities of the last few days, but just extraordinary. I mean, the feedback to me personally, people sending me pictures of themselves going, I'm a Penrith supporter in a Manly jersey. I got a couple of those posts, which is just unbelievable. Fantastic. But, to me, that's the past. Like I said, from Reese's perspective, we had a coffee yesterday, had a good chat, it was awesome, and took the post down and, maybe got a bit emotional, and in hindsight, he probably wishes he didn't do it. He's a good guy. And I think all the brands are, quite frankly, and all the businesses are. And let's hope that doesn't happen again, and let's all work together to just build this wonderful sport. Thank you guys as well. I think the effort that both you put in and Trent puts in, you don't make any money from it. I mean, you get paid a salary to come and cop reviews and me ring you every 3 days. We can do better, lift the game. What do we need to do? But if you add that to what SLA are doing with their series and all the carnivals on the weekend, the sport's never been in as much shape. And it's just absolutely unreal.
Bonus round, who's winning the Ironman and Ironwoman this weekend?
Not going to go. I've got myself in enough trouble in the last few days. I'm not making any comments around that.
All right.
You?
Well, you,
who do you think's going to win?
I'll appreciate you.
Who do you think's going to win?
Oh, I don't know. I'll think about it and I'll let you guys know. But anyway.
See you, everyone. Thank you.